to get our Bomb Pops cookies, getting them started, we need some butter. 1.5 cups softened, and we're going to mix it up and whip it. All right, now it's nice and creamy. We're going to add a cup of sugar, and we're going to whip it until it's fluffy. All right, once that's nice and fluffy and creamy, add an egg. And it's always a good idea to have your egg sitting at room temperature for about an hour just to take the chill out. At the end of the day, the base of this is really just a simple butter cookie. So whip the egg in. All right, once that egg is nice and incorporated, we're gonna get some vanilla. We're looking for 1 teaspoon. And whip that in. Okay, at this point you want to set your butter aside for just a sec because we're going to mix our dry ingredients. So we've got 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to this we're going to add just 1/2 cup of baking powder. Sorry, not 1/2 cup, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. You want a little bit of leavening to these cookies, but not too much, because you want to keep kind of the shape of the pop, as if you're eating a firecracker or a bomb pop. With a fork, just give this a mix, get that baking powder incorporated evenly. Let's bring our butter back. And we're going to start to get the dry ingredients into the butter. Incorporate it slowly. It's going to be a pretty stiff dough. And you might need to fold the rest of it in by hand, but let's see how my mixer will do it. All right, so once you get that flour all incorporated in, which is a tough task for your mixer, you might have to do it by hand, but it's definitely a dough that it's a shaping dough, you know, so it is pretty stiff. At this point, you want to divide this up into 3 parts, and maybe one of them is just a touch more than the other 2. If you know, or if you recall when you were a child and the ice cream man came by, firecracker pops or bomb pops, the red on the top is a little bit, that layer, that cherry layer is a little bit bigger than the other 2, but just a touch. And I don't think anyone's going to fault you if it's not exactly the same, but anyway. Knead it up into kind of your ball and then start dividing up evenly into 3. I got these all divided up in 3 parts. To this one I'm going to add black cherry Jell-O. About 3 tablespoons. And knead that in. And if it's a little too dry, you can always put a little sprinkling of water. Once you get it kind of mixed in, it goes faster to knead it, and I did sprinkle a little water in here. Now, it's not quite the red color we want, so throw in a little red food coloring. Okay, while you mix the other ones, pop that in the fridge. We've got berry blue Jell-O, which is very similar to the flavor of a bomb pop. And same thing. We're gonna go with about 3 tablespoons. Sprinkle just a little bit of water and get that moving. So I can certainly smell the berry, but I don't think the blue is really bright enough for our bomb pops. So I've got some gel color of a bright blue. And finally, we have our middle layer of our bomb pop, which is a lemon lime flavor usually. And there's a couple of ways to get this achieved. One, maybe there's some Kool-Aid flavors out there that you can throw some lemon lime in here. Jell-O has either lime or lemon. I just opted for lemon, but I don't want this middle to get too yellow. So I'm just putting a tablespoon in. The other thing you can do is just do some zest. A little bit of lime, a little bit of lemon. I would say about a teaspoon each to keep the middle not too yellow because Bomb Pops are usually very white in the middle. So we want to keep this with that flavor, but without too much color to it. So I'm trying the lemon Jell-O. I've been chilling each batch as I color it and flavor it, so I'm gonna chill this just a touch so that I can work it into a shape. So this is gonna end up being really a cut cookie. So we're gonna work our base. We're gonna roll this into a log. So we've made kind of a long rectangle, and it's about a foot, and it's about, I don't know, 1.5 inches to 2 inches high. We're gonna do the same thing with our lemon layer. And now we're gonna do our red layer. So we're going to chill this in the freezer so it'll go quicker. So wrap it in parchment. I'm gonna put it on a baking sheet and let it sit in the freezer so that we can cut it quickly. So this has been in the freezer for about an hour, so it's nice and firm, and I have a serrated knife. I've got the oven going at 350, and I have parchment lined baking sheets at the ready. And we're going to basically slice like so. And it's about 1/4 inch thick. And keep going. So one of the things I like to do once I get them cut, you know, they start warming up a little bit, and when they do that, you can kind of shape the tips to be a little bit more even. And then I like to take the back of a knife and do 2 lines. All right, so these took about 15 minutes, and I did flip them halfway through. And you just want them set and just starting to brown on the edges just a little bit. If they brown too much, then you're gonna lose some of that light coloring in the middle. So I have them in the baking sheets for about 5 minutes and then transfer them to a cooling rack to let them cool completely. Finish off our firecracker or bomb pop cookies. Try to find some that match up and have some popsicle sticks nearby, and grab just some vanilla frosting or cream cheese frosting and put a layer. You're going to turn them pretty much into sandwich cookies. And then let them set. And continue with all of them. There we go. Our Bomb Pop cookies. Super easy to make and really, really fun for 4th of July guests. So get out there, enjoy the fireworks safely, please, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend. God bless America. And please subscribe to the channel for all the fun things that we do here, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for your support. Ciao.